So before you draw your area model, I want to talk about how many boxes we will need. Do you see any zeros in either one of your factors?
No.
No. So that means I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes. But when you draw your boxes, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. Would you like some?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to make it longer rather than taller. Okay. And then when I draw my lines, my vertical lines, I'm going to scoot this one over because typically this answer only has maybe 3 digits in it, right? And then I'll make this one a little wider. And then the first one is for the large number. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Alright, so which number goes on top?
400.
400. I don't know why I'm writing an 8.
81.
Okay, don't forget to highlight. Okay, so I think you can give this one a try from beginning to end. What do you think? Yes. Okay. And you can check it with mine as you go along. Okay, boys and girls, I want to stop you for a minute. On the answer key for my problem set, it is not asking students to add these up. We are assuming that you're going to add them the same way both times. So these are just to compare the partial products when you multiply. They're just to draw the arrow to, okay? So let's try and do it without adding those up starting now. Okay, so on this one I've got 3 columns by how many columns?
3.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do I need
Two.
2? Because I don't have to count the 0, do I?
No.
So when you make your area model, whoops, that's a line. Continue to go ahead and make it wide. And remember that last column isn't going to take as much room. And you just get to have 2 rows this time. Okay, you want to give this one a try from beginning to end? Okay, don't forget your highlighter. Some of the partial products will end up being the same.
I feel like we already did one.
Yeah, some of the partial products will be the same. You already done with this problem?
Yeah.
I guess you'll have to check yours with mine. Yes. Whoops. Be careful when you make your decision as to how many zeros go on the second row of multiplication. Practice the area model and the standard algorithm a little more. If you remember from yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, you don't have to add your partial products unless you want to. Some kids want to so they can check their answer to make sure they didn't mess up. Okay? So on the first area model, it looks to me like there's a 0 in the top and the bottom. So that's going to change the number of columns I need and the number of rows. So make it a little wider. And then I have 1, 2, 3 columns. 8,000 plus 400 plus 1. And I have 2 rows. 300 plus 5. Okay? Now let's set up the area model. Some simple mistakes to avoid are copying this down incorrectly. That can be avoided pretty quickly, can't it? Okay. So, highlight. We will do what we did yesterday, okay? You're going to wait for me when you get to the standard algorithm so I can talk you through your zeros. Also, what else have I been writing in? I'm going to write it over here. 8,401 times, what's my first problem?
5.
Okay. And 8,401 times?
300.
Okay. So it looks to me like we're going to have no zeros on the first row and then 2 zeros on the second row when we do the standard algorithm. Okay, you check your multiplication and addition with mine, okay? Don't forget, adding these separately on a piece of scratch paper is a good idea, especially if you write large, okay? You're welcome. Okay, for the standard algorithm, remember what zeros we will need. Okay, so 1 times 5, 0 times 5, 5 times 4, 5 times 8, plus 2. Do we have a match?
Oh.
Okay. Now, put the collar on and draw the bell if that helps you. Because we're skipping the 0. Okay? Okay, so that means I'm taking it times 300. I need how many zeros there?
2.
2 zeros. Okay, so now I've got 3 times 1, 3 times 0, 3 times 4, I forgot my x. 3 times 8, 4 plus 1. Okay, I'm going to have to add down here. Is that a match?
Yeah.
If I came across this problem, just standard algorithm, what do you think I would do? Just look at the standard algorithm. What do you think I would do?
Solve it.
I'll already cross out 1 and add 0 because the 0 you don't.
Okay, so he said take the 0 off, rewrite the problem probably, and I would probably, don't write this, but I would probably write it like this. That's a lot easier multiplication, isn't it? Yeah. And then we'll put the 0 back on. That's how I would do it if I came across that problem. With an area model, though, I can't do that. So, Xavier, how many columns will I need?
4.
4. And how many rows?
3.
Well,
I meant
do we
2.
put 0 in a row? No, we don't, do we? So just 2.
Yeah.
So make sure it's wide enough. Whoops, that's a line.
Yeah, I mean to say 3.
So how will I break 350 apart, boys and girls? 300 plus 50. Okay, so you're going to do your standard algorithm, your area model, and then wait for me on the standard algorithm. Same thing as before. Okay, add them up on the paper. That'll be easiest. So rather than adding 4 numbers, I don't love to add 4 numbers. I'm going to combine some of these mentally. So could I do 4,000 plus 50?
Yeah.
And just write that and write that here. Okay. So 20,000 plus 4,050 would be 24,000 50, right? Then add that to 350,000. If you'd rather add them all up on a separate piece of paper, go ahead and do that. Make sure your answer matches mine. Actually do it.
Like I did that, then I did
Just
that.
add these four numbers, Xavier. Just add those four numbers up.
All together?
Yeah, line them up correctly though, so be careful when you line them up. And I'll get this out of the way so it doesn't mess you up, okay?
Okay.
So on the standard algorithm, the two problems we're going to do, 7,481 times 50 and 7,481 times 300. So keeping with the zero strategy, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a 0 to the first row. I will not write 4 zeros going across. That's a waste of time. I'm going to add 1 0 and I'm going to cross off the collar or put the collar on. Okay? That comes from this number 50. So I'm multiplying it times 50 to start with. 5 times 1, 5 times 8,
40.
5 times 4,
24. Wait, sorry, 25.
okay, 20 plus 4, 24. 7 times 5,
35, 37.
35 plus 2, 37. Do we have a match?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now I multiplied times 50 on the first row. How many?
2.
2 zeros on the second. Don't forget your X's. Put the bell on the turtle if that helps you. So now I'm ready for 3 times 1, 3 times 8, 3 times 4, 3 times 7. Okay? Try those. Okay, check your answer with mine once you get it done. Would it be easier for you to just rewrite it? No, you're good. So do B first and then do A. And this will prepare you for your exit ticket. Because in A, we're taking out the 0.
Oh, wait, do
Okay.
B, then do A?
Do B first.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so just move away from that. Let's look at the exit ticket. Start fresh. Okay. So the first problem is going to be 3 by 3 because there are no zeros. So when you do your lines, you can adjust the width of the columns and you can adjust the width of the rows, okay? And you're going to find that it's simple multiplication. So to set this one up, I would do 600 plus 40 plus 2, 257. Now there's really no reason to cram it all in there. There's lots of room for you to write. If you want to do each problem on a piece of scratch paper so you have enough room, do that.
They're both the same.
They're very
never mind.
similar. So that's the first one. The second one is a little different. Let's take a look at the second one. What's different about this one?
It has a 0 in it.
It does. And so instead of 3 rows, how many rows will I need?
2.
2 rows. How many columns will I need?
3.
And we're going to have very similar numbers in the area models, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
So if you get the top one correct, you're probably going to get the bottom one correct. That's my guess. Okay, so this is your exit ticket. It's 4th grade. It's worth 14 points. You'll do fine. What I think maybe some of you might want to do is use the scratch paper because you're not going to have enough room to do the problem on the paper. Okay?